Hey guys, this is my project, my final project for the Java class, and what I'm doing for the project, it is an app that I created. The app, what it does is just extract the text from the image and make it into a stream, like make it like a digital text. Why is this cool? So you can use this app for many things. If you need, for example, something to be typed in, and then for like a PDF, for like a picture or like a PDF, so you don't have to like type it in. You can pretty much take a picture, and then all that data automatically is gonna be digital. It is not like a scan, because when you scan, you still have a picture. It is gonna actually be data as a string. And after explaining you what the app is gonna be doing, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about Android Studio, which is the program that I use to create the app. This is an IDE and many other things. You can do a lot with Android Studio. So the setup, how you see on my screen, is my phone is on the right hand side, Android Studio is on the left hand side. First, I'm gonna show you something. Oops, I guess somebody's uploading a video for the class. You see, this is my phone, it's live right now. I'm gonna show you first. When you open Android Studio, it's gonna tell you to create a project, and it's gonna give you a lot of options. Like I use the basic option because the reason of the app is to be simple and to be effective, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time doing design. So as any program that or any app on Android that requires a user interface, you have to create that user interface like you do in Java, like a GUI. So it's the same with the Android. Here on this file that you see here, layout, is actually the other file. The folder has the file that contains the layout or the user interface. It's interesting to know that many of those files are automatically created by Android Studio. You just have to know where they are and how they look. So this is the .dat file. So this is you see how you do the layout. Could be you can code this. This is most likely how people with a lot of experience do it. I kind of like use a mix of doing it code and also using the design view. So if you see here on the right hand side when I have the cursor, you can do a split, which is what I use, or you can also use only the design view here. And then you can create a button, you can create text fields, and you see it right on the left hand side. It's pretty much kind of like NetBeans, if you can see it here, similar. Then after you create your layout, you have to make a change on this file here, Android manifest.xml. So what is this file and what is the purpose? So this file kind of like hold information about what are the main things that your resources, or the main resources that the phone is gonna be using, your app is gonna be using from the phone. I'm sorry. If you see here on the text that I have highlighted, it says use permission, and then after there it's gonna ask it shows what kind of permissions I'm using. In this case is the camera and the external storage. Whatever that you're gonna use on an Android app, you're gonna have to inform the user of the permissions that you need in order to be able to execute some task. In this case, Android has already integrated that function. Once they approve once, they don't have to repeat the process all over again, but they need to approve it. If not, your app won't work. Once you have this page set up, then you're gonna have to do another thing before even starting your code, which is add the dependencies. What are the dependencies? If you see here on this file that says Grotto script, second file says build.grotto. And then if you see here, dependencies is kind of like, I'll compare to like a set of tools that is gonna allow you to do a specific task. So if you see here, I implement one library, the text recognition library. Why am I doing this? In order to be able to recognize the text on the picture, a normal person will have to create lines and lines of code that will require a lot of time and a lot of knowledge. However, they already have that created for you. It is like when you use a library on Java to create a scanner, to create an array. You see, all those libraries are already created for you in order to speed up the process. So this is the one that I'm using to translate the image to text. After you have your dependency set up and your layout, then you're gonna have to be sure that on this file here, Drawable, you have all the icons that you need, you see, and pictures that you're probably gonna need at some point to create your project. After you have all of this ready, you're gonna have to go to the main activity, which is what we call main Java in the IDEs. And then to begin with, you're gonna see everything that is being imported. Some of those are being imported by Android Studio by itself. Some of those I didn't. It's important to know that a lot of IDEs have a function that once you are coding, if you don't have that dependency or that library, it's gonna tell you, and then you can pretty much right click it and add it, or at least you're gonna know, you're gonna have knowledge to what you're missing. So once you start with the public class, the main activity, which is kind of like the link between the layout and your backend, I initialize all those variables, the ones that is gonna hold the text recognition, the image buttons, the image view, and then also really important, the ones that hold the permissions request. Why? Because when you ask the user, is actually when they're gonna allow you, based on that action is where you're gonna be able to use your app or not. So this is the method boy on create, kind of like the main method of the app. And here I kind of like initialize all those variables with the fields that I create on the layout. And also you see here what it says manifest permission. This is exactly what we set up at the beginning when we when we declare that we're gonna use the camera and the storage. This is how you initialize them for the future reference when your program asks the user if they wanna allow them to use the camera or the gallery. Here I also initialize the recognition variable, which is the one that is gonna be at the beginning by default, and eventually it's gonna process the image. Then here, this is the image button, the bottom, the one that you're gonna press when you're gonna take a picture or also pick a picture from the gallery, an image from the gallery. And then it's gonna activate this method, which is the one that recognizes the text from the image. How the process works is pretty simple. Once you take a picture or upload it from the gallery, this task is gonna be called and then it's gonna assign the recognized variable the process of the image. While this is happening, I'm using dialogues, which is a little like a message, pop-up message. When you're doing an app, for example, if you want the user to be aware of everything that is going on, you create those dialogue, and then it's gonna allow them to know what the app is doing. For example, if it's loading an image or making the transition from image to text. So it's kind of like nice to keep the user aware of whatever is going on in your app, so it looks like it's working, you know. So here we have some operations that I'm doing with the text. So this is how after I create that text, I make it as a string, and then I do the operations. Since my app is designed to give you a result based on the text that you read, so you need to make it readable in an easier way. So I'm gonna show you what happened, how you do it, and then what happened when you don't have it. You're not aware of whatever is going on with your text, because the app is, you can use it for multiple things. So once that happens, you see here on the recognized text, which is a field that I have created on the layout, you display the information that you want to. Down here, this is the method that I use to create a pop-up menu. So once you open the app, it's gonna ask you if you wanna take a picture or if you wanna access the gallery and then upload the picture. So this is the menu that allows that to happen. And then one is if you pick one, it's gonna import, it's gonna call the method pick camera. If you do gallery, it's gonna do the same with the gallery. And then if not, you see it's gonna request the permissions in case the permissions are not enabled. So here it is the method that pick the gallery and the one that pick the camera. They're pretty much the same. Just pass the informations as data, and then that data gets processed on the text recognition instance. And down here is the permissions, how you request it and how you ask for those permissions. Okay, after explaining you a little bit about the app, I'm gonna show you how it works, and then at the same time explain you how you set it up. So Android, it's important to understand, like Android is kind of like pretty flexible. I'll say, oh, it escaped out of my mind. Oh my god. Okay, Android is like a window, like a operating system. So it is a pretty flexible operating system, and then you can use a lot of resources from your phone that otherwise are not available to any other kind of like EOS of the iPhone or so many other operating system. However, for you to be able to access those resources, you have to allow the Android Studio or the program that you're using to access those resources, and then you do it accessing the debug mode from Android. That you can Google it out. How you do it? It's pretty simple. Just clicking a few times the debug mode and then allow you to run it on debug mode. Okay, so on your right hand side you see I have the picture of my or like the screen with my phone already, and this is the app that I'm using. But this is my phone with all my apps. Then I'm gonna run it from Android Studio. You see here you can click the debug mode if you need to debug, if you need to find about any mistake, or you can go and run it straightforward. So this is what I did here, and then you see, boom, the app came to life. I already have some image saved on the gallery, so I'm gonna start using the gallery first. And then you see this is the image that I pick, and then this is on my sales report, and I'm just picking the numbers where the report is at, and I pick the results. And this is, you see down here, you own the support staff and X amount of dollar. So which is pretty cool. You see it's pretty much done, and I don't have to even like think about math or nothing. It takes pretty much like 5 seconds to make that happen. However, you can do the same from the picture and do it on the moment. So like for example here, you take camera, and then, so I have to move my phone a little bit. You see, I'm gonna have to take a picture. Let's say this is my sales report, click picture, and then you see now it is gonna give you a different number because I didn't pick the right number, but pretty much the same, just adding the numbers that are not there. But you see it's pretty much about the same. So that's because I guess it picked a different number besides the one over there. I'll have to be more precise when I'm taking the picture. You remember it was 237. Let me see. You see, I mean it worked either way. Let's see the results. You see 237, which is pretty much the same. However, what if you want to use the app for something else? What if you want to read a whole text? So so you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to eliminate that section of the code that is only for to convert the text, and then you'll see here. Okay. Okay, here we're gonna convert the text, and okay, so look at this. That should be working right now. This is cool. This is how you read anything, any document, anything that you want. Let's see, let's wait for the app. It takes about like a few seconds to run. So okay, that's gonna pick the camera, and I'm gonna take a picture for the same report, but this time I'm not processing the image or like the data inside the image. It's pretty much getting the whole image, and then look at this. Once I click resolve, everything is down here. Everything. You see how I read the whole picture? So this is interesting because you can use this for any single file. Handwritten, it works. It's not that perfect, but with files like from scan of like computer generator, it's pretty exact. I will say to the detail. Let's say that your professor give you notes and you need to take those notes. You take a picture, then you make it into a text file, and then automatically you can here copy. You see, you can even copy everything. You see, select all, copy, and then it's already strings, already data. It's digital. You can pass it into a Word document and carry on. This is pretty cool. So this is another useful feature of this app that anyone can use for any single reason. You can either process the text that you need, or you simply just use it to copy and make the text digital in an easier way and faster. Well, guys, this is my app. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. If you want to know about Android Studio, I'm not the most advanced user, but I kind of like dig in a little bit, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video.